Let's try this again. Tell me if this isn't working or lags or is messed up in any way. Let's just give us a shot. Mike McGlinchey, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your presence. You're the only person I'm inviting to this quality control meeting. Usually it's the coaches. This week it's you. You're the weakest link on the team. You're making the rest of your team look bad, the run game, the pass game. We're going to have to replace you next year unless you show something the next 3 games. You got to show something. So I've been trying to get your attention. I've been ridiculing you. I've been criticizing you. I've been humorous. I've been negative. It occurs to me that that's not the right way to approach you. You're a young guy. You're 25 years old. You may respond better to positive reinforcement. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to walk through your worst plays from the game against Washington, and we'll break them down together. Mike, I'm on your side. We'll go in a very gentle way, and we'll talk about what you could have done better. And remember, I'm trying to keep your job. I'm trying to help you save your job because you're holding on to it by default right now because there's no one else who can take over. You should have been benched already. And you know that. I mean, you understand that you're not playing well enough. So let's go through your worst plays. And I know it sounds scary. It's not every play, Mike. It's just 15 of them from the Washington game. 15 bad plays. And we'll go through each one in a gentle way, and we'll talk about what you could do better. You can take notes and, get your input too. So let's start. Second play of the game. Here we go. You're here right on the right. That's you, 69, Mike. That's you. Okay, let's see what happens. So this is going to be a run away from you. You notice they run away from you a lot this year because you're not the run blocker you used to be. So here, you got Montez Sweat in your face. You lunge at him, and he throws you to the ground. Now, the run's away from you. Nothing bad happens. But, Mike, this is a bad look, okay? You're the 9th pick in the draft. You're a captain. You're supposed to be a foundational piece to this team, to this offense. And first handoff to a running back in the game, I mean, you lunge at the guy. Your weight is way out in front. You have no punch, really. He punches you in the chest. Look where your hands are. Your hands are low. His hands are right in your chest. And when that happens, now he's forklifting you, Mike. You see that, how he's forklifting you? And your hands are not on him. His hands are all up in your face. Your hands are out kind of by his shoulders. And now he's going to throw you to the ground. You see how he's throwing you to the ground right there, Mike? See how you're on the ground and all your teammates are standing up, but you're on one knee? And now it didn't cost the team here, but it's a bad look. Mike, write that down. Don't fall down. Write that down. One thing you can do better is stay on your feet. Write that down. Okay, let's move on. Next play, 9:02 first quarter. Feel free to follow along. 9:02 first quarter. Here we go. This is now a 3rd down play. Let's see what happens here, Mike. Okay. Here you are. This time you're going against Ryan Kerrigan, also a good player coming off the bench for Washington, not exactly Montez Sweat. Let's see what Kerrigan does to you here on 3rd and 2. So you're kick sliding. He punches you in the chest and walks you back into the quarterback's launch point, forcing him to move out of the pocket, extend the play, and he gets sacked. It's not your fault. You didn't give up the sack, but you gave up the pressure that led to the scramble, that led to the sack. So again, let's watch what you could have done better, Mike. Here, you're going up against Ryan Kerrigan, and let's pause it right here. Where are your hands? Your hands are awfully low. They're at your knees. And maybe if you had quick hands, that'd be okay, but let's see who gets in the first punch. Kerrigan does. He punches you right in the chops. You slowly raise your arms and grab him. The slowly raising your arms and grab the guy technique isn't working for you, Mike. It's passive. This is a hand-to-hand fighting sport like UFC or boxing or wrestling or sumo fighting. You got to fight back, Mike. This is you like trying to catch him, like trying to break up a barroom brawl. No, man, you're in the brawl. And now he just pushes you. At what point are you going to stop letting defensive ends run over you, Mike? Here's the quarterback. That's where you end up. When are you going to take a stand, Mike? Not there, not there, not there. You're bigger than him, Mike. Mike, you're bigger than him. You're 6'8", 290 pounds, theoretically. You're bigger than him. How are you going to let him push you like that, Mike? So the teaching point here is don't let smaller players push you around, Mike. It's a bad look. Because even if you don't give up the sack and this doesn't end up in your stat sheet, PFF doesn't downgrade you, it's a very bad look when you start out here and end up here because some guy who's 30 pounds lighter than you pushed you. So just write that down. Don't get pushed around by smaller people. Okay, next play. 2:11 first quarter. Okay, I passed it. Here we go. Okay, here we go here. Let's watch. What happens here? Full screen. Let's slow it down. You're on the right. This is 1st and 10 at the Washington 18. Niners are in business. But what happens? Let's see. This is not one of your best. This is one of the 15. So here you fire out to block Chase Young, but you don't block Chase Young, Mike. You miss. And Chase Young chases Nick Mullins out of the pocket along with this guy. And Mullins just can't make this throw that's open and should be completed. So, sure, we can blame Nick Mullins. That goes on his stat sheet as an incomplete pass. But, Mike, the design of this play calls for you to block someone. In this case, it's Chase Young. And what you do, and I don't know if it was a miscommunication because the offensive line coach wasn't there, but you don't block him. You see that? You fire out, your hands are low again. You're not creating an impact. You're trying to hug him, and he throws you aside, and now you're off balance, and now you're watching. You see that? You see that? You can't block in this position because he's past you. So you're now a spectator. So write this down. Don't be a spectator. And make sure you block the guy you're supposed to block, because lunging at him and missing, it looks like it's high effort, but it's really clumsy. And you're the 9th pick in the draft. You're supposed to be much more coordinated than this. You're a run blocking specialist, Mike. And I think the world of you as a run blocker. You're better than that. I mean, it's a play action pass. You're firing off like it's a run play. Just in the future, block the guy. Okay, fair enough. Let's move on. 15, let's go to the second quarter. Here we are. Okay. All right. So wait a little bit for the run play. Here we go. Here's from the other angle. You are here now. And this is a run play to the left because, again, the Niners like to run away from you because you play like you're 270 pounds, and Trent Williams is the best offensive lineman on the team. So running away from you, you're blocking 94, and now you're not blocking 94. Remember what I said on the previous play about blocking people? This is a lot like this. But the difference is, on the previous play, you didn't block 99 at all. You just missed. On this play, you really have 94. I mean, let's stop right there. Hold on, let's bring it back. What you're trying to do and I love it, Mike, you're doing a good job. You're trying to get on this side of it. You're trying to get your helmet on this side, on the play side of the defensive tackle, and you do it. Look at that. Look, that's perfect. Mike, that's perfect. Way to go. If the play ended here, you get an A+. But somehow you can't keep that leverage. He gets his head back around you and turns you. You should be turning him, walling him off like a screen basketball. But now he's manhandling you. And now you're not blocking him anymore. You had him, and then you let him go. So the teaching point on this play, Mike, is to keep blocking people when you start blocking them, right? So you started blocking him, A+, just so good. But then you stop blocking him mid-play. That's a problem because the guy you were blocking makes the tackle on Raheem Mostert, and what could have been maybe a 10-yard run ends up being more like a 6-yard run. So little things, Mike, little things. And that's why we're here today, so we can do this together. If you clean this up and play better the next 3 games, man, you're going to have a really promising offseason next year. If you don't, I don't want to go there yet. So let's go 14-38 third quarter. It's the same drive. Okay. For the next play. All right. Let's see. Okay. This time, going against Montez Sweat. Man, this guy is a hell of a player, okay? You're kick sliding. Notice where your hands are. Again, hands at your knees. What is that? That is not how Joe Staley played. Did he teach you to do that? And is it working for you? Okay, let's keep going. So your hands are low. Notice he gets the punch in. You haven't even fired your hands, and he's punching you in the chest. This is fighting, Mike. Mike, this is fighting. You got Trent Williams firing his hands. Yours are still at below your waist. Okay, so now what happens? Now he really punches you. Now he's really being rude. I mean, that's just uncalled for. And your hands are still like kind of in this passive stance where you're like, hey, man, can we be friends? What's up with all the hostility? You're that guy at the bar. Hey, man, come on, man. Why you got to yell? There's no problem. There's no problem. And now he throws you to the side and your technique is out the window. You're chasing now. Now you're just chasing. Maybe you can push him away. And what your saving grace on this play is that Laken Tomlinson got beat quicker. Laken Tomlinson gets beat right off the bat. Nick Mullins has to get rid of the ball, and Montez Sweat doesn't have a chance to finish the play. So again, this doesn't look bad on your stat sheet. It just looks bad on film, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, Mike, to let the guy punch you like that. When are you going to fight back? You're like Cameron from Ferris Bueller, man. You got to take a stand. You got to take a stand. Who does he love? He loves a car. You got to take a stand, Mike. You can't let these people run over you. They're dying to go against you. Every defensive end is like, hey, I'm getting 2 sacks this week. Let me go against Mike McGlinchey. They're fighting to go against you, Mike. It's not fair. I don't like it. So in this case, what you want to do is punch. Don't let the guy punch you. You punch him first. Beat the guy to the punch. Stop getting punched in the face. I think that's the coaching point on that play. All right. Next one, 2:56 second quarter. So you had some good plays. I mean, we're going straight down to the end of the second quarter, all through the middle. So you did good for a while. That's good, Mike. Write that down. You did good for a while. Okay, here we go. 2:56 second quarter, 3rd and 8. You're going against Sweat again. Man, this guy is a hell of a player. He might be better than Chase Young. I don't envy you, but this is the NFL. There's a lot of guys like Montez Sweat, and they are giving you problems, Mike. So here, hands a little higher. Hands a little higher. You're getting them up. You're trying to get that punch in, but you don't. He's punching you in the Adam's apple, right in the throat. And you're grabbing him like, man, that hurts, man. You kind of push him away like, yo, leave me alone. Leave me, keep your hands to yourself. But then what he does is he kind of grabs you and pulls you toward him, boom, and explodes by you. And now you're in this position where you're turning and chasing. Fortunately, Nick Mullins got the ball and threw it before anyone could really get there. That's the beauty of the shotgun. He had been under center. This would have been a sack. But again, doesn't show up on your stat sheet. You have a clean sheet so far. It's just embarrassing. Montez Sweat knows he can do whatever he wants against you, and that's why he's very confident at the end of the game when it's time to close it out for the Washington defense. We're going to get there, but you can't let these guys punk you like that. They punch you, then they pull you, they push you, then they throw you. So I guess what I would say is, of course you want to punch, but the turning and chasing thing, that's the last resort. You want to keep him in front of you. Yes, you want to keep the pass rusher in front of you, Mike. Okay, so we're working on that, keeping the guy in front of you. Now let's go to the third quarter. We're done with that. See, it wasn't that bad. We're already done with the first half, Mike. And it wasn't that bad. Well, see, this is constructive. This is constructive. Come on. It's okay. It's okay. 10:05. And if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot it out. If you disagree, you think I'm being a little nitpicky, we can talk about it. I'm just trying to help you because I think your career's at stake. So 69, here you go here. This is 1st and 10, a run to your side. This is why they don't run to your side, Mike. Because again, we talked about blocking, right? You have the block, and then you stop blocking him. You feel like you almost want to block 54 for a second, but you forgot that you hadn't finished the block over here. So this is one of those bad looks. This is on you. This is a tackle for loss because you became the spectator. This is spectator Mike, not blocker Mike. We want blocker Mike. So you see, you expect him to come out, and this whole lunging thing that you do where you get your face so far over your feet, you can't change directions. You think he's going to come out to the edge. He stunts back to the inside, and you're already screwed. I mean, McKivitz is trying to help you. He gets the bump in there. It's a double team, and you're still falling off. You're still looking at 54, and now 31 gets tackled by the guy you're supposed to block. And you're standing there like, oh, man, I wonder if they're going to notice it was my fault. No, you're not standing there like that. I know you mean well, Mike. I know you want to do better, Mike. I know you do. I know you want to do better. The only thing is when I see you do this, my question is, do you want to play football? How come you won't hit anyone, Mike? How come you're just letting them hit you? Why won't you maintain your blocks? Do you really want to play football? Are you just a big guy who got drafted in the top 10 and you're filling your obligation? Listen, you can tell me, Mike. I won't tell anyone. If you don't want to play football, it's just between me and you. You can say it. This is a safe space. We're in a trust tree with a nest. Tell me, do you want to play football? Because this looks like a guy who doesn't really want to play. Looks like a guy who's kind of like, hey, like, let me just kind of float through. Hey, I bumped him. That should be good enough. Tell me you want to play football, Mike. I think you do. Do you? Does this guy want to play football? Well, let's keep running the tape. 9:26 third quarter. You got some plays in the third quarter, Mike. We're going to have to stick here. Okay. 2 plays later. Same drive. This time, 3rd and 12. Again, you're going against Sweat. Boy, he's good, isn't he? Now you got Ross Dwelley coming in motion. Give you a little help here. So they're trying to help you, Mike. They know you can't block Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat knows you can't block Montez Sweat. You know you can't block Montez Sweat. Mullins knows it. Dwelley knows it. Kyle Shanahan knows it. So they're trying to help you here. Let's see what happens. Dwelley's coming over. He's going to give you the chip that you need. You know you need this chip. You know it's coming, Mike. But you overset to the outside, and when Dwelley does his job, you're not ready for Sweat to bounce back to the inside. That's what's going to happen when you get the chip. So once again, you're beaten, and now you're chasing. You know the chip's coming, Mike. They're trying to help you. So you got to anticipate him bouncing to the inside. You don't. Now you're lunging. Your head's way over your feet. Now you're chasing. Now you're a spectator. Now Nick Mullins is going to fumble or get sacked. He's going to get sacked. And it's not your fault. It's not on you. The guy that Montez Sweat didn't record the sack, and PFF can say that you played great. But you see this, Mike. How many times are you going to have to turn and chase a pass rusher in this game? How many times? It's a bad look, Mike. So again, write this down. Stay in front. Stay in front. Because you can't block someone from behind. You can't. You know that the chip is coming. Be ready for it. All right, let's move on. 4:45, third quarter. This is 1st and 10. Okay, here we go. First play of the next drive. Okay, here we go. Now, this is one of these examples of you doing the right thing at first. This is a great play by you and McKivitz at first. You're going to double team 94 here. You can do it great. Watch this. The two of you working together. 68 and 69. The Mick offensive line twins. Great. If the play was over there, you guys get an A+. You just perfect. Your job now is that you've secured this double team block and you've created a lane to get up and block this guy. That's why they drafted you, Mike, because you are a wizard on your toes. You're twinkle toes. You are fluid and agile, and watch how you handle this second level block right here. Yeah. Okay, so let's watch that again. Everything's going great, Mike. You do your job. You and Colton really do a good job. And then you presented with this 230-pound linebacker. You outweigh him by a cool 70 pounds. You dive at him and land on your face. And then the guy that you were supposed to block makes a tackle. So again, little things, Mike. I think the teaching point here is not to fall on your face. It's always good not to fall on your face. You're the first thing you should be doing. Keep the guy in front of you. 1, 2, don't fall on your face. As long as you can do those 2 things, you should be fine. Like, keep the guy in front of you. Don't fall on your face. Don't get thrown on your back. Those 3 things, if you can work on those, you're unstoppable, Mike. I mean, really, the whole dive at the ankles of a guy who's 70 pounds less than you, what's that? Do we teach it this way here? Is that how we teach it? I don't think so. Is that how we taught it? Taught is the word. I'm sorry. Okay, Mike. So I'm just showing it over and over and over again because you're supposed to be embarrassed. You don't want to look like this. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. You falling. It's a bad look. Okay, there it is again. 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 Don't do it, all right? Okay, let's move on. 2:36 third quarter. This is third down. All right. All right. Okay. We're moving. We're moving. We're grooving, Mike. We're not lingering too long on any one play. This is all constructive, okay? Stay with me. Here you are on the right, going up against Kerrigan, 3rd and 6. Now, once again. Okay, and then he's going to roll out, and then he's going to make this throw. That's a nice play by Nick Mullins. But what I'm talking about with you is this is another example of you having zero power and letting people walk all over you. I mean, do you let people walk all over you in life? I don't think so. I mean, on Twitter, you have a lot to say when you get unfair criticism. But when Ryan Kerrigan punches you in the face, you're just like, whoa, what's up with all the aggression, bro? What's up with all the hostility, bro? No, hands are low. Your hands are low. You stop your feet. He gets underneath you. Pushes, he's underneath you. What is this technique with your feet right here? You got your hands outside the frame. Your feet are not underneath you. You're going to get thrown and you're going to be out of balance. Look, you can't stop people who are smaller than you from pushing you around. And that's to me why I ask you again, Mike, do you want to play football? You're bigger than him. He shouldn't be able to do this to you. That's their backup defensive end. If you don't want to play, go ahead and tell me, man. You don't have to play football. I don't want to play football. I don't even want to play freshman football. I just critique people. It's way more fun. You could do it with me. Look at this. You look like the big guy in high school who the football coach went up to and said, dude, you're 6'7". I need you as my tackle. And you're like, I don't like playing football. I don't like contact. I'd rather paint. I like painting. And they're like, please, can you just stand at right tackle and catch the guys? That's what you're looking like, man. Tell me that's not the case. Tell me that's not the case. I'm telling you, Mike, in the next 3 games, you're going to have to fight back or they're going to get rid of you. You got to fight back or else there's no point in keeping you, man. It's not just that you're losing, it's that you're accepting it. Okay? We're not done with you. Now we're going to the fourth quarter. We got 5 left. You've survived 2/3, Mike. And I respect that you're sitting here and watching the whole thing. I really do. Thank you for attending. This is the 2-point conversion attempt. This was a completed pass. You might think I'm nitpicking, but I'm trying to help you because this is what everyone's looking at, Mike. Here, you're going against Montez Sweat. You lunge. You think you got your hands low. You think he's going to hit you with power, which you can't withstand. You go to punch him, but you don't punch him, Mike. Is that a punch? That's not a punch. That's not a punch. What is that? You missed him. It's a phantom punch. And now you're turning and chasing. And the best you can do is maybe push him out, but really you're just lucky that the ball is out and someone's open. If Kendrick Bourne isn't open, Mullins has to hold it. He has to run. He has to escape out of the right side like most times. So if you punch, land the punch. Land the punch. What is this? He just swipes your hands away. And then that little arm move, like, get off me. And you're like, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm just going to kind of follow you now. So yeah, punch with force, like make contact. I used to see Joe Staley after practicing his punch on a wall. There was a padded wall and he would just practice one after another, left, right. I've never seen you actually punch a guy. You're allowed to. It's actually not against the rules for you to punch this guy. Do it. Let's keep moving. All right, let's keep moving. Now, final 4 plays of the game. This is where, despite all the terrible play from a lot of players on the offense, they were in position to make a comeback. And this is where you became the 12th man on Washington's defense. And you did this when the Niners were making a comeback against Philly with C.J. Beathard, who was playing great in that game. You became the 12th man in that game. Let's show you how. So, first play of the drive. Let's go through it. This is Niners are down 8, 2:40 left, 1st and 10 on the 48. They are in business to tie this game up. It's going to be a screen to Brandon Ayuk, who's in the slot. You're at right tackle. You're going to go out and block this guy. Okay? You're going to block this guy. See that guy? This is what they got you to do, Mike. You're so good on the move. But you miss him entirely. And now you're on your face again. Remember I said about being on your face? It's a bad look. And now you're smacking your hands on the ground, which is also a bad look. Stop being frustrated. Move on to the next play. We all know you're not playing well enough. You don't get extra points by showing people that you're frustrated too. Just fix it. So here we're going to fix it. Let's see it from this angle. Let's see it from this angle. You get out there. It's looking great so far. Look at you. Look at that knee lift. Look at that knee lift. But you just run right by him. You don't even touch him. Now that's a bad look. What you don't want to be, hold on, let's put it right here. You're going. That looks good. You don't ever want to be in that position. This one right there. See that? You see that? This is a bad look, Mike. You don't want to be flailing around. People call you Mike McFloppy. I think it's really mean. I would never call you Mike McFloppy. You have too much respect. That's why I sat down with you. That's why I'm taking time out of my day. But look, it gives credence to the nickname. This looks like you are either dancing or flopping. You're doing like that dance they did back in the 1920s, the flappers, you know what I'm saying? Like that's you. So yeah, when you go for the block and you have that much space and you can line them up from like 15 yards out, I would say is make contact, don't miss, and then don't go for the slip and slide move after, because you don't get style points for that little, whoa, I'm down. Yeah, but the thing is, this is just first down. Let's keep it rolling. Here we go. This is 2nd and 3. They still got 7 yards despite you missing the block. So this is 2nd and 3. They're moving ahead of the chain, 2nd and 3. They're going to run to your side because they believe in you, Mike. Here you fire off, heads way out in front of you, and you try to give everything you can to Montez Sweat. You actually initiate the contact here. Look at it. Hit him with your helmet, hands up. Boom! You hit him. Thing is, you got nothing behind it. What do you weigh? 280? What is this? Look at those legs. He forklifts you, and he like kind of throws you to the left right there, but then he's like, nah, I can throw you to the right easily, and you get discarded, just get ragdolled, and then your guy makes a tackle. You're a run blocking specialist, Mike. I mean, you know that you didn't get drafted for your pass protection skills. That's why you're on the right side, not the left. You're supposed to make this block. You're bigger than him, Mike. Okay, so that's 2nd down. You have a chance to redeem yourself on 3rd down. It's still 3rd and 2. The Niners are in business. 1:59 left. They're in Washington territory. And then Nick Mullins is going to make this throw that'll put the offense in field goal. Well, really in the red zone, right outside the red zone. But it doesn't count. Why? Well, because of you, Mike. I mean, I feel bad because earlier you got that chip from Ross Dwelly and it messed you up. Here it seems like you're expecting the chip from Jeff Wilson Jr. and you don't get it and it messes you up. I can't tell with you, Mike. You got the chip from Dwelly, it didn't help. You don't get the chip from Jeff Wilson Jr., it doesn't help. What are you expecting here? I'm not blaming this on Jeff Wilson Jr. I'm seeing a guy wearing number 69 who's getting thrown around, pushed aside, beaten around the edge by Montez Sweat for about the 5th time in this game. And then you commit the holding penalty so that it's not 4th and 7 or 4th and 8 if he gets sacked. It's 4th and 12, 3rd and 12. So 3 bad plays in a row from Mike McGlinchey. Now, talking to you, Mike. Now, the next play, this is 3rd and 12. You're actually fine. 3rd and 12. You're actually fine here. But the last play here that the issue is 4th and 12. So they actually still could pull off a miraculous comeback, but you saved your best for last. Once again, going up against Montez Sweat, who knows he can do whatever he wants to you. He can beat you by running straight through you. He can beat you by going around. And you know that there's nothing you can stop. So you're all right. Already right now, you're in a point of panic. I mean, you've given up on your kick slide. You're kind of just shuffling. You know he's going to hit you with the bull rush. And you know there's nothing you can do to withstand this man who's 30 pounds lighter than you. he's just going to throw you, and he does. And you keep backpedaling and backpedaling and backpedaling. And now you're actually, we talked about you want to be in front of a defender. You're not in front of the defender. You're in front of your quarterback. Mike, write this down. You never want to end up right in front of the quarterback because it's really hard for him to throw or see the defense, any of it. Really, you want to be over here. But instead, you're over here. Let's do it again. Let's do it here. See what I'm saying? Hold on. So you're in the right spot now because you're not in front of the quarterback. But now when the defender hits you, you keep giving ground and retreating. And when you finally make your stand, you're actually looking at the quarterback. You have your back to the defense, which is a position you never want your offensive lineman to be in, back to the defense. You see 71 here? He doesn't have his back to the defense. He's going to get $20 million this offseason. You are going to get benched if you keep playing like this. So that's it, Mike. I mean, really, write it down. Don't turn your back to the defense. Don't get forklifted. Maybe lift weights. Maybe eat a hamburger. These are all things you can consider because you see what it looks like. And even though the fans may not really understand how bad you're playing, or Pro Football Focus may put out some bogus stats and numbers and grades back here with you protecting, because this is not protection. I mean, you're lucky they don't really care about Nick Mullins. They're not invested in him. If this guy was making $27 million a year, you'd be getting a lot more flack, and I'm trying to prevent that, Mike. So, Mike, take a stand, fight back, okay? That's it. Take a stand, fight back. Go watch Ferris Bueller. The scene where Cameron kicks his dad's Ferrari. The Ferrari is Montez Sweat. You got to kick that out of the garage. I don't really understand how that analogy holds up, but that's what I'm going with. All right, Mike, you're free to go. You're a good sport. Thank you for watching that. I hope you feel I wasn't too negative. I do want you to fix it and work out. I'm not rooting against you. I would really like you to fix it because I don't see how the Niners can replace you, Mike. They got to draft a quarterback. They got to draft a cornerback. They're stuck with you. And you play a very important position. Any guy they sign to compete with you next year isn't going to be that good anyway. They're going to get some guy for 1 year, $8 million to compete with you. $6 million. You got to step it up, dude. They need you. They passed on Tristan Wirfs last year because they believed in you. And right now you're playing like, I don't know, man, like Mike McFloppy. Don't be Mike McFloppy. Don't do it. All right. Horatio says, did McFloppy look like this in camp? Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. Shanahan talks in 20 minutes, so I got to leave soon. I'll be back on later in the afternoon because Shanahan's going to say whether or not he's benching Nick Mullins. There's going to be some news today, so I'll come back around 3. But if you guys have any questions before Shanahan talks, feel free, or we can just meet up later. Let me know what you want to do. Watch McGlinchey have a great season next year because it's a contract year. No, if McGlinchey bounces back, it's because of this session I did right here. And I hope if you're watching, you could see that it's not Nick Mullins' fault for this pressure. The pressure is all around him, and he's trying to make do. A lot of times, Mike McGlinchey's getting beaten so bad, but he's not the one who ultimately gives up the sack. But the pass protection is a joke. And the thing is, I singled out Mike today. Colton McKivitz is just as bad. And Laken Tomlinson is just as bad. Laken Tomlinson is the most overrated player on the team. Daniel Brunskill's okay, but I don't think he's really a starter on a good offensive line. He's a high-level backup. To me, the Niners have one starting caliber offensive line, or one guy who they should bring back next year, Trent Williams. To me, they should overhaul the whole thing and bring back a new right guard, a new center, a new right tackle, a new right guard. But you know what? Who can do that? That's not an option. It's not an option. They're going to bring like one new starter next year and be like, you know what? It's good. And what you're going to hear is all that offseason propaganda. Hey, Mike McGlinchey's in the best shape of his life. Mike McGlinchey's in the best shape of his life. Mike McGlinchey's looking great. You're going to read that in May, June, July, August. All I'm saying is it means nothing. Whether or not he's in the best shape of his life, no one's going to know, or no one's going to actually tell you the truth on that one. That's going to be propaganda, feel-good story like, hey, Dante Pettis is playing great. Trent Taylor's balling out. Solomon Thomas turned a corner. That's what you're going to hear. We'll see it for ourselves when the real football starts. in preseason and regular season. Joe Staley isn't going to be a coach. There's no guarantee to be a good coach. Yeah, it's a really hard job with a lot of work that doesn't pay that well. And he's has $100 million. I don't think he needs it. Why did McFloppy lose so much weight? Great question. Daniel Brunskill is our right guard. Well, if he is, he's not getting any reps there. He's playing center. He can't improve at right guard while he's playing center. The Niners have to figure out what he is. Right now, it seems like he's a guy that they bounce around and isn't a starter. If he's their right guard, put him at right guard now. He needs as many reps at right guard as possible. McGlinchey needs reps with his right guard next to him. Stop flip-flopping this. We need Mike to eat Jimmy, D, and Eric this offseason so we can afford a team that he can become a big boy. Yeah, basically. Pretty much. He needs to eat those contracts and those players. That's a good one. I like that. I asked him that already. He said they're professionals. It's what you do in the NFL. Well, we'll see. He's a professional. How long until York fires Shanahan? Well, Shanahan's going to draft a quarterback this year, and that'll give him 2 or 3 more years. If he gets the quarterback right, he'll be here for life or as long as he wants. If he gets the quarterback wrong, he'll be fired in 3 years. So this is make or break time for Kyle. Do we have a backup for Mike? Not really. Justin School? Daniel Brunskill? Not really. If only Grant was a GM. Hey, one day. Grant, should you step down as 49ers quality control and specialize as McGlinchey's quality control coach? Maybe. I did such a great job today. I should think about it. His caddy, his personal therapist. What do you think about switching in school? Yeah, I'd be for it. I think the Niners should bench Mike McGlinchey. All the local media is saying bench Nick Mullins because, that's low-hanging fruit and it doesn't take a lot of expertise to say it's all the quarterback's fault. I say bench Mike McGlinchey. 15 plays where he gets ragdolled. He doesn't even punch. He doesn't look like he wants to compete. Bench Mike McGlinchey. Bring in Justin School. Give him a freaking chance. Couldn't be worse than Mike. Were the 2019 49ers overrated? Probably. Really good team, but they had these issues back then. A lot of things broke their way. Maybe things be breaking their way this year if they had more health, but I think they got lucky with that offensive line last year. What happened was the Niners run scheme caught a lot of people off guard. The Niners had a lot of leads. There were not many situations where Mike McGlinchey had to pass protect consistently over and over and over because the team was trying to come back from deficits. Now he is, and now he's getting exposed. How is McFloppy a starter? I agree. He shouldn't be a starter. They should bench him. Okay, guys, I need to get ready for Shanahan's presser. He's going to say some things. I'll be back at 3, and we'll talk about the news of the day. Thank you for watching my film breakdown of Mike McFloppy. Take care.